It is the Tiguan, in the segment that every car manufacturer has to build an SUV for, because there's endless competitors. And this one, more than any other test drive we've done, made me go looking at all the other competitors.
You're watching Everyday Driver. We make a TV show, podcast, and YouTube channels dedicated to great cars, driving adventures, and helping you find a car you'll love. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss a thing.
We have specifically stated at Everyday Driver, stats don't matter. Do you like the car? Is it fun to drive? Does it suit your needs? And do you like how it looks? But this one kind of ticked me off a little bit.
It made you go looking at stats? Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I looked at some stats too.
I went digging hard. I even looked at the Atlas.
Okay.
Because starting out with the engine, this is equipped with Volkswagen's 2-liter engine.
The EA 888 that's in
EA
everything. It's everything. If it's a Volkswagen, it is in that model.
It is. But first of all, you need to know the differences between the 2-liter in this versus the Atlas. You might think it's the same. It is not the same, even though the bore and the stroke is the same, the displacement is the same. But the compression ratio has changed, and the maximum boost pressure from the turbo has changed, and therefore this makes nowhere close to the power and torque output of the Atlas
that is true.
That we like it in. That I thought, well, it's got the 2-liter. This doesn't feel like the 2-liter that we like. And nowhere close. It makes 184 horsepower and 221 pound-feet of torque. In the Atlas, it makes 235 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. It's not tuned anywhere close to the Atlas, and it leaves you with what feels like about 5 seconds of turbo lag everywhere you go, which is dangerous, because when you're trying to get around a semi or you're trying to get out of a dangerous situation and you put your foot down and nothing's there every time.
Well, you have to go into manual and you have to force it into a gear.
It doesn't move.
You can't let it find a gear for itself.
The moment has passed.
You're right, absolutely.
The danger, you having to re-correct and rethink about things.
I think that part of the issue is the fact that this is not tuned for give me all my power, unless you are forcing the engine with this transmission to be at high RPM and just hang out there.
Delay.
If you do what I've done, which is put it into manual, and I'm keeping it in a lower gear so that it stays on boost, then it feels like it's got enough. But you don't drive this that way most of the time. Most people aren't going to drive this, because what are you going to want? You're going to want decent gas mileage, and you just think, I'll let the transmission shift for itself.
Blow-off valve, just route it back into the engine, just constant boost. I'm always on boost. Always, everywhere I go. I'm on boost.
This is, I need more room than a Golf. That's really the only reason I can think of that this exists.
Yeah.
The Tiguan is a made-up word merging tiger and iguana. If you see a wild Tiguan, run away. If you see a wild Tiguan,
is that like a jackalope?
I don't know. Run away.
Tiguans.
Yes, they have jackalopes.
What kind of weird zoo
is that? They have jackalopes in the south of the U.S. They apparently have wild Tiguans in Europe. It's terrifying.
Going Tiguan hunting.
I'm telling you, get away. But this has incredible space.
It does.
In 5-seat configuration,
I
am shocked that few in this space have more space than this does, especially in that second row.
Yes.
There's shocking amounts of legroom. Everything in this category, we've been in it in the past year or two, and I am shocked by the legroom back there.
Wonderful.
The headroom is decent.
It's wonderful.
The seats up here feel like they're taken out of a Golf. Almost GTI quality seats. They're decent.
They're decent, yeah.
The back seats are solid.
Actually,
lots of
might
people,
be, now that you say that.
Lots of people have terrible back seats, like the quality of the seats themselves is bad. These seats are very good.
Yes.
Having said that, this is that same chassis, the same engine, the same driving dynamics of everything that Volkswagen makes. And I continually come across the fact that it just feels bland and sterile, and they all feel like slightly different sizes, all the way up to the Atlas, of the exact same driving dynamics, which is just sterile. It's fine. That's the struggle that I have with this, is I don't really feel like there's a lot of things fundamentally wrong with it, but I don't think there's anything about it where, like, you know what's really good in that space is the Tiguan. It's fine. It is an option in this space from the company Volkswagen. This has Apple CarPlay and head unit that wants to do everything, except it keeps blacking out.
Did it black out on you?
Blacked out for me.
How many times?
Only once. But,
see, it's like a badge of honor.
Yes.
5.
Wow.
Count them times.
Okay.
In one 40-minute drive, 5 times it rebooted itself, had to reconnect to my phone, went black. Just went black.
I will say in Volkswagen's defense that I actually think that wireless Apple CarPlay doesn't work very well in most vehicles we get.
Think about everything in the 5-seat SUV category, it's more money than all of them, including the Grand Touring Reserve Mazda CX-5 with the turbo and 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque that drives better, and it's faster and more powerful and is the better choice than this.
Nicer to be in. That is
nicer to be in.
That is the biggest problem.
Name the category. I mean, the space in the back is really, really good here. And you're right, we need to do a little bit of praise because in all of Volkswagen's styling language, I think it wears, or the Tiguan wears it the best.
It actually looks great.
Proportionally, lines, crisp lines, and defining features. Look at the front of the hood, and the hood shape is defined, and then this power crease right up each fender, just as a subtle thing. The entire theme on the side of the car, very crisp. And now on the new R-Line, that's where the R-Line badge goes right at the front. Those lines wrap all the way around from the taillight binnacles or that area where the taillight sits in. Nice shapes, lines connect, they continue to the inside, themes repeat and relate to each other.
Yeah.
It looks sophisticated, classy, and it looks fantastic. It's just,
it looks great.
It's really, really good.
You get in the Tiguan because it looks the part very well. It just drives so very average.
I can't wait. Look, color screen. Brilliant instrument panel.
The instrument panel is excellent.
It's excellent.
And it does feel directly related to Audi, which is high praise because that one looks awesome.
Yeah. Well, finally, it's not sterile and interesting to look at.
Yeah, it looks great. But that's only on the upper trim. Of course, this is the everything trim. That's the SEL, Premium, R-Line, all boxes checked. So that means it's just over 40 grand. Back to Paul's point about the fact that a loaded Mazda CX-5 won't touch 40.
Won't touch 40.
It's going to be like 38.
Nor will a RAV4. Only the Prime XSE is a little bit more than this, and you get way more for your money.
You get lots of great gas mileage and a lot of tech in the Prime. Absolutely true, yes.
Equinox, Rogue, CR-V, all of the rest are far less. So if you want to spend less, I can't recommend this because from a driving perspective, what are you getting that those aren't offering? It is very bland. It doesn't... I want it to turn in better. I want it to do more. And here's a point. Does every 5-seat SUV or any SUVs at all, unless they're built to do crazy things, do they need a sport mode? Did this need sport mode? Why does it need sport mode? It's already got a decent turbo. Why can't we just build the car in sport mode and just leave it?
Gas mileage.
I guess, but it's not like it's a standout for gas mileage already.
I hear you.
It's 24 combined.
Yes, I agree. It's not great for gas
Come
mileage.
on,
You're not going to have a whole lot of power.
For less money, you can get more power. If that's what you're looking for. And again, it's space. With the 2 rows, you do get that full-size spare back there, and you get a decent amount of cargo space. It's really good.
You can get this with a 3rd row. I mean, don't get this with a 3rd row. It's not big enough.
Get an Atlas.
But almost
or
everybody is offering. There's 5-seat CUV even when there's no space for it in a 3rd row. This one is a 2-row, which is the way to get it.
Volkswagen, I think you missed an opportunity to have the same tuning on the 2-liter in the Atlas and do that in this. Because for $40,000 and the same kind of power, this would move and it'd suddenly be kind of interesting. Because if you're going to give me, well, normal and placebo, it's supposed to be normal, eco sport, and individual, and you can tune it how you want, the steering feel and the throttle response. It's like the light switch in your house that doesn't do anything. You can't figure out. It's like connected to the neighbor's porch light out there. What does this do, honey? Do you know what this light switch does? Why have it?
The eco normal sport mode, there's such a slight difference that it just doesn't feel like it's worth the trouble, honestly.
No. And so therefore, build it in sport mode. Okay, let's have the R-Line have the power.
That's an interesting point.
And that's what R-Line means. And therefore, it's not just a trim level with the metal covers down here over the gas pedal and the accelerator and the scuff plates and, the nice trim around. It actually, that's a selling point, makes it the R-Line worth it because you get that little bit of extra power and it's sort of built kind of more fun to drive already. That's a reason to choose R-Line and pay more.
I'll follow that thinking for a
Not
minute.
just trim.
When we go back to the Mazda CX-5,
Yeah.
you can get that in the lower trims with a lesser engine that is about the same power as this.
Yes.
A non-turbo.
A
It's
non-turbo.
power.
For less money.
Once you step up into the upper couple of trims, the engine changes to be the more powerful engine.
Yes.
Why not have that here?
Yeah, that's
And
absolutely on.
That
yes.
just brings me right to a place. This RAV4 in front of us. We have the brand new RAV4 in front of us.
Yep.
Not one of the hybrids. Actually, that is the hybrid. That
is
that
the
RAV4,
hybrid.
That's one you can
You're
buy
right.
as well. That's
For
just
less
get a
money.
RAV4. That is less money than this.
Better
That's
gas
superb.
mileage, same
Yes.
or better kind of space usage.
Significantly better, almost twice as
Yeah.
good a gas mileage. Think about that. That gas mileage on the
Jeez.
RAV4 hybrid is almost double what this gets.
Yes, it is.
And because of the hybrid powertrain, it takes off from a light better than this does.
And you still get the same amount of cargo carrying capacity, which is what you bought a 5-seat SUV to begin with.
Absolutely. This is a
There's
Volkswagen
another one ahead
lover's.
of it.
This is a Volkswagen
Weird.
lover's car. And if you're
It's
not a person
interesting.
that is a Volkswagen fan, you should shop everywhere else because there's nothing.
Yeah.
I literally, in spite of the fact I'm ranting, there's literally nothing I can say that is a death stroke to this. Like, oh, that's just terrible. It's not terrible. It's very solid
Driven in a
across the board.
vacuum, awesome.
It's very solid across the board. It's just this is such a competitive market segment, and the other stuff that's out there, there's stuff that's better for less.
There really is. So, yeah, I'll just drive it. Nope, I'm going to go down a gear. I'm just going to drive it on boost everywhere.
Yes,
to
you
solve
have
my
to.
problem.
You have to.
I'm going to drive
Great
it
for
fourth.
Volkswagen fans.
Come on, hybrid. Third. Will it listen to second? Nope.
You're right.
Oh, there we go.
They probably programmed a miles per hour that is
Totally.
the max.
Hey, look, an Atlas.
An Atlas Cross Sport.
Oh, yes, it is
Yes.
the Cross Sport. Ooh,
Woo!
come here.
Do you share an engine? Maybe.
Well, we do. It's just they tuned it down.
That's weird. That was the E8 888 as well?
I think so.
you're right. I think you're right.
I
That is
looked
just
at
weird
bore
that- yeah.
stroke. Compression is more in this because they wanted more of the low-end torque. But let it be boosty. All right. I'm done searching for fun.
That's the tagline. Tiguan, done searching for fun.
I'm done.
That's actually not bad. That might be where we end up. That really might be it.
I've had it with the search.
It's just we went hunting for wild Tiguans. We found none.
None.
We are now done searching
I'm
for fun.
Done.
That job is over.